Got it. What's up, Bill?
Yo,
There we go. There we go. I knew we would persist. Oh, wait. We live out here. The audio now works.
yay.
What did you tell everybody while I was doing all that? What was going on?
I was telling them that I look terrible. I look exactly how I feel. Is exhausted.
Uh,
I was trying to figure out that there's something that you could put under your eyes. And they was talking about concealer. I was like, no, I'm not talking about concealer. I'm talking about something that actually get rid of the puffiness.
I think, I feel like something in the chat helped me out more. Ain't that like retinol or whatever?
Yeah, that's what it is. That is
That's what
what
I'm
it
saying.
is. It's
Yeah,
retinol.
you need to cop that. No, yeah, I see that's the the reason why I notice it, because that the shit that you putting behind the glass at the Target, not the Target,
Mm-hmm.
the CVS. All right,
At the
I
Walgreens.
I was finna ask how you were, but now I know you two feel like shit. I'm sure for multiple reasons, obviously because you're tired, right? But
It's that time
I'm
of the
sure,
year.
yeah, like
It's
that seasonal
cold. It's
affect
balls
disorder,
outside.
bro. Is it snowing yet? Have y'all got snow yet?
No, it's not snowing, but it's cold as balls. It was 32 degrees this morning, and it never really I don't think it got past 40 today.
Okay,
So
that
it's
makes me
cold.
feel. So I mean, first of all, let's set our table. We are going to talk about more shit than politics, Bill. This is not necessarily a politics like thing that I'm trying to do on this live. It right, like, but
Somebody said women eat salad.
women
Man eat
eat
steak,
salad.
pork.
Women be shopping. Uh, you know what's crazy? All right, last thing I'm gonna say on this bit. Men say women be shopping like they don't spend their whole life savings on a parlay every weekend.
For real. For real. Like
Like at this same,
I
like at this,
gotta
like the rate that you be shopping is the same rate that sorry, the rate that you wish
niggas be
women are actually
gambling.
shopping at is what you be gambling with. At least they know what they're getting on a return. And I said this is a person who, like, I'm
Exactly.
not even
At least
anti
you
sports
know you're
gambling.
gonna get something at the end of the day. Y'all niggas is
I
paying for a dream, hope, and a wish.
the worst kind of hoop dreams. That being said, I did make $5 on the Milwaukee game. We talking about the government shutdown. We're gonna talk about the Grammy nominations, specifically in the hip hop and rap categories. Things that I also understand that you keep beating me to the punch, but that means I know you got thoughts on it because I seen that on Lil Bill's barbershop. One
I
of
just
the
be yapping though.
Yeah, one of the best side channels, honestly, on this side of YouTube. Definitely a top 5 car ride vlog space. Cause like, I really sometimes I do put you on in the car. So like we're
For
both
real.
driving and just hearing you and hearing you. I'm like, you know what, yeah, you plus Elliot. I'm like, yeah, it's honestly time for us sensible, smart men to just yap about some shit. Cause like, why are we letting fucking these normies do,
Man
not even
eat steak.
normies, these red people, these women eat salad niggas take up the space, right? But so we're gonna get into all that and maybe hopefully wrap around to talking about the NBA being peak again. Like, I know some of y'all gonna run away and y'all better fucking
Low
stay,
key might be.
because like, I don't know if you caught any of yesterday's games, but I swear to God, literally every game, almost none of them played on like national television, but on almost every game that I was able to catch up in dubious legal streams, came down to the wire. Even the Wizards game,
I saw
the Wizards
highlights.
game, the Dallas game, the Milwaukee game, and I'm like, sorry, the Houston game. Uh, anyway, so we're gonna get to that. What are you about to say, Bill?
No, I'm saying I saw because I had to watch that aggravating Eagles game last night, so I saw, like, bits and pieces of everything else.
Nah,
That
facts.
game was pissing me off.
I didn't catch the end of the Detroit game. Yeah, right. They were playing the one playing the Wizards. Uh, oh, Gemini. Pistons are taking over. I remember you did tell me last week that you was a Pistons fan. And I was gonna clown you until I realized that the Shaq meme. I was like, I'm sorry, I was not familiar with your game. I don't know why all of a sudden you guys were good, but then everybody was injured. So I was also like, I'm not really. I'm not from DC. I'm from Baltimore, but like I live in DC. I'm still not a Wizards fan because I have like a crumb of self respect. Um, but I uh I still thought, hey, if they're like, I think the Wizards probably can get this game only because I checked the injury report and I was like, oh wait, like everybody's injured. So like I was like, what's good? Piston game restored by Will to Be Alive. Respect it because Kay Cunningham put that team. Jason Tatum put that team on his back. To be honest, and I was like, wow. Honestly, like this he didn't even the reason why I'm saying the NBA might be peak again is honestly because of that game. Because guess what? Kate Cunningham wanted to win the game. Crazy
Mhm.
concept. I feel like honestly, if you've like been an actual NBA fan for the last like 4 or 5 years, like there was a good like yeah, I say like 4 or 5 year period where we were like doubting that like the big stars wanted to actually be playing this game, right? 'Cause, like the nonchalantness of
Yeah.
like
You
Kawhi and
you know
like
what it
whoever else,
is parody is coming back, and that's by
one hundred
design.
percent.
This is literally what the league wanted, and, I am a big fan of not necessarily the style of ball, the dead ball style of ball, but I was a fan of the fact that it felt like everybody had a shot until you got to the playoffs. Then it was a different story. But on any given night, everybody had at least like one or two dudes that could go off. I was a big fan of that. And then we got to, the super team era, and I kind of fell off a little bit because it was like it's only like 4 or 5 teams worth paying attention to anyway. But
I mean, I'm not gonna
I
lie,
like this. I
I
like
do
the
like
log
this.
jam.
No, I like it for the game in general. Honestly, like as a fan of the game, I love it. I did grow up. I'm so you can hate me now. I think you already know that. You probably already done it before, but I'm a 14-year Celtics fan. With the issue with being a Celtics fan is honestly like you can't ever say you got in when they were bad, but that's why I like the fucking team. Okay, but like I was there during the Avery Bradley years. And like that's the thing y'all not going. I was there during the Terry Rozier years. All right. So anyway, it don't matter. And I just think I
Another
the
gambling addict.
what you mean? I don't even gamble that much.
Terry Rozier.
Oh facts. Oh
Terry
fact. Oh okay.
Rozier, the gambling addict.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's why we had to get. That's why I had to get out the organization because the Celtics don't play that. And one thing the thing I like, I actually
How long he been in the league?
I
I
grew up
feel like
liking
Terry Rozier
college
been in the
basketball
league
way
for
more
like
because I
ever.
like what you say.
I said I feel like Rozier been in the league for like ever.
Because he been fixing games. he said,
Well, yeah, there you
listen,
go.
they gonna give
There you
me
go.
like
He was fixing
I'm
games.
only finna get a minimum contract every couple years. I gotta get even he need a side hustle. Y'all don't want to hear this, but Terry Rozier being caught. No, sorry. To be honest, Chauncey Billups being caught in a gambling scandal is a recession indicator in like many
And
different
nah,
ways.
so I'm doing because I had did the joint on the side channel just yapping. I said, you know what? I gotta at least do a short boy on the main channel talking about this because I could not wrap my head. Well, I could wrap my head around it, but I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that so few other people was wrapping their heads around it. And that is that how do Chauncey Billups, NBA Hall of Fame, as far as I ain't from Detroit, so I don't know, but I would have to say it's It's gotta be, like, some combination of Isaiah, Chauncey, and Joe Dumars, like, going back and forth between 1, 2, and 3 in Detroit basketball lore. How do Chauncey Billups get tied up with the Gabagools? You know what I mean? Fixing poker games.
That
Somebody got some debt.
and you know and
That's
you
all
know
that's the
what's
only way that
crazy
I can
about that
figure is that
is
somebody
that
owes somebody some money.
I just finished watching not I finished I just started watching The Sopranos. As that news broke, I literally had just watched like 3 episodes of The Sopranos and I was like, "You know what? Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense."
I'm
Like
convinced.
the mafia actually do be finding its way because honestly, at the end of the day, the mafia, much like a gang, but like to be fair, at a more sophisticated infrastructure, really due to like colorism and like a little bit of racism. I just think like the lighter you are, the easier you can scale up your illegal operation. But it just like with the gang, there's more of there's a safety and economic motive to it. It's like inevitably
Yeah,
it's impossible to kill the mafia because the mafia's job is just to like make money for their people. Like that's all it is. It's just a safe way to do. It's just a coordinated way to do that. And so even as you stamp it out, it made sense to me that of course eventually the mafia is going to adapt their tactics to be like, okay, to be honest with you, most of capitalism is itself a racket. So like the fact that they
it
democratized
is.
it through
It
sports
quite
gambling,
literally is.
of course we're gonna get into it. I had a video on the back burner
Right.
about Enron that like I ended up not doing, and then of course fucking How Many Works just fucking dropped one on it. But I was like, I feel like most people remember Enron, and also I wanted to talk about that. I kind of want to pause here and be like, not to call you old or no shit like that, but like, do you remember Enron?
Remember Enron?
Okay, no, no,
Enron
no,
was like
no, cause
what? Enron was like right after 9/11, right? That
yeah,
happened.
yeah, basically yeah, like right after '01, yeah. Um, but I think about this because technically like I have no idea what Enron was. I know what Enron is because I have a master's in accounting and like therefore like it is basically like our original sin. And so you take a basically entire fucking I shit you not, you take an entire fucking class on it. And but like when I asked like my sister who's a senior at Duke who's in law, I'm like, "Oh, do like what do you know of Enron?" They're like, "Oh, they like stole a bunch of money, right?" And I'm like, that's not what like the fact that that's what you remember about Enron is kind of how
Mhm.
you know he lost, right? Because what Enron, if you
Yeah.
described what Enron did, you would think like, but don't we do that now? Like Enron got caught
Mhm.
lying about how valuable they were. You know, they convinced people
Yeah.
to put more money into them because they were like they're smart people, bro.
Yeah.
That sound like
Enron was a
Tesla.
Ponzi scheme.
And
Enron
like
was a
and it was a
Ponzi
very
scheme, basically.
it was one of the not first but it was one of the biggest at the time in like during a burgeoning dot-com bubble and sort of technological advancement period, very sophisticated Ponzi scheme that after it blew up basically everybody just stole parts of the plan and then they
Mhm.
passed a fake bill to be like, oh, okay, we're going to regulate ourselves, and now everything is
Yeah,
Enron.
and that is the most hilarious part about all of these things to me is that it's always all right. We learned our lesson. We're gonna slap ourselves on the wrist, and we're gonna and then you get the housing crisis. Then
Right.
you get the housing
Oopsie.
crisis,
Ah,
and you want to
we were a little too lax on ourselves. Who would have thunk? It's
right.
crazy. I have no
The
idea. This is why I
next
love
thing, you
talking
know
to
what
you.
the next thing is going to be? The next thing is going to be, and y'all can mark this down with the way we probably done buried the lead, but the next thing is going to be insurance. Why the
For
insurance
sure.
industry is finna be the next housing industry with the way that they deregulate and everything. I promise you. I promise you
Actually,
about like
I
five,
don't know
ten
how much you know
years.
about that. Yeah. Do you want to break that down for people a little bit more? Because I don't know how hip everyone is, but I kind of see like where you're going with this, especially with the dismantling of Obamacare.
So basically the main issue with it, because and I said this on the side channel, is that Obamacare in a vacuum, I was never a big fan of to begin with, and I explained why on the, second thing. I don't wanna take up too much time explaining it, but the most important thing, and I saw this from because my first job in college was selling insurance, and the big thing was, a lot of people, I don't know why, because it wasn't that long ago, but a lot of people for some reason don't remember that there was a time where you could deny somebody insurance for, your blood pressure too high, or you weigh too much, or
That was
you
the
this,
whole
that, and the third
fucking
thing,
that was
whatever.
the whole point of Obamacare, to make sure you
That was the
couldn't do the
whole
pre-existing condition.
right. That was the main point about Obamacare was that you could deny somebody because they was pregnant. You know what I mean? Oh, the route that we going is complete deregulation of the insurance industry, which again, all insurance, if you ask me, is all a racket. I mean, you need it, but it's still a racket because at the end of the day, what they want you to do is they want you to pay for something that you're never going to use anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. And the
So,
way
you
I
know,
actually like to
just
explain it too, because auditing and actuary services are so close together, is that the issue with insurance is really the issue with capitalism. Insurance, I guess, and I've thought about this sometimes, would technically work in like a communist economy, right? In the sense of like, the government is proof of this, right? The insurer of last resort, right? When the banks
mhm,
fail, when the banks fuck up their money, they know they can go to the government and be like, hey, we need resources so that we don't like starve corporately, like so we don't go bankrupt. But because and so they're going to give them the amount of money theoretically that they need theoretically to continue on services until they get back on their feet. But in private insurance, right, you need to make a profit. The profit motive makes it so no matter what, we all just accept. No matter what premium I'm paying, I'm not getting a good value for my dollar because
right.
I'm almost never going to use the insurance. But they price it as if
Mhm,
like, the one time that I'm going to use the insurance, somehow I need to pay all this shit back. And also, like,
mhm,
as a butterfly effect, that's also why medical care and your car and all these things that you use insurance for be so expensive, because they know they're not even pricing with you; they're pricing with the insurance companies,
right.
who are the people that have all the money. There was a
No,
point
yeah,
they were
that's
supposed to be
that
there
that's
was supposed to be a way to
basically it.
land that, but I don't know.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, yeah.
And
J Rad,
what's gonna
yeah,
wind
go
up
for it. Yeah.
happening is that what's gonna wind up happening is that people just gonna stop going to the doctor. That's
Exactly,
just
because like
just gonna be
they're
what it is.
like they
They're
can't they
gonna
can't
stop
they can't
because the
afford it.
people right. The people who need it the most not gonna be it. Cause I remember sitting down with people and signing them up for stuff, and they'd be like, "Well, what's the point? I'm literally paying more money. Like I'm just gonna take my chances. I'm literally paying more money to not get the tax penalty because I thought that was the whole point. I'm just gonna take the penalty because if I do the math and I pay $100 a month for this insurance that I'm probably never going to use, well, that I can't use because first of all, I got to meet a $5,000 deductible for it to kick in anyway. So that's the first $5,000 coming out of my pocket. I got to spend $1,200. You know what I mean? And you're saying I'm gonna get a couple $100 worth of a penalty on my taxes? I'm gonna take that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
what's going to happen is that the people who will actually use it, they're literally going to be disqualified from it. And the folk who need it, they just ain't going they just ain't going to buy it. So
We're just gonna
where's
rise
your
everybody's
where's
rates
your
because
liquidity coming from?
exactly, and I think that's what
And it's going to
J Rad
collapse
also
on
just said.
itself.
Healthy people build a
Right.
liquidity pool.
There you go, exactly. And then when the healthy
Ultimately,
people ain't buying it, then you ain't got no pull.
right, which means that you like y'all out here thinking, oh hey, well I have my insurance, so the insurance is gonna help me. Nah, insurance ain't gonna help you no more, nigga. Like your insurance is now gonna make
Right.
a now $20,000 expense. Oops, a $15,000 expense. Here are your savings. That's what the $2,000
Like
tariff
Social
check that
Security.
Trump got coming is for.
It's like Social Security. If ain't nobody paying into it, once you retire out and then you go try to get your check, ain't going to be nothing left for you.
Exactly. I'm paying 200. J-Rack said I'm paying $200 a month for a free physical every year. Count me out, dog.
Basically. Basically. So
I
yep,
don't even know.
this is where
I
for
don't even know
all
how
the
we got all the
internet
way over here.
libertarians out there, this is where laissez-faire gets you. This is where the invisible
Talk
hand
about it.
gets you.
The
I hate
the
that.
invisible
I
hand reaching in your asshole and twisting, making a full fist.
pretty much
No lube.
I hate that so much. I hate when somebody call themselves a libertarian. Just tell me you ain't read a book in your life.
And you know why I agree
You
with
ain't
you,
read one book.
Bill, is because I don't know. You grew up with black parents, so like that might make it fundamentally different. But I know what you're saying is true because before I read a book, I called myself a libertarian. I was in eighth grade, but I called myself a libertarian.
But you was in eighth
Now,
grade though. I'm talking about people that's in they 30s talking about
that's
some
why I really like. That's why I feel like it holds true. It was like at eighth grade, I just happened to be
mayors of whole
politically involved.
towns.
I was like, oh, I like, AKA at eighth grade, I knew I didn't fuck with the Republicans or the Democrats off top. I saw John Kerry and I was like, that man not for me. I don't know. John Edwards, that's not for me. I don't know. My dad talking about some stuff. They doing stuff, but I feel like we could be doing more. And then someone was like, well, what if everyone just got to do what they wanted to do? And you know me with my eighth grade brain, I was like, yeah, this all seems really complicated. We should just let everyone do whatever they want. I'm sure that's worked somewhere else before. I didn't read. I couldn't read. I read an eighth grade level. All right,
What
let me
I
not.
was taught, what I was taught was, all right, you can do that. Guess where you're going? You going to jail, buddy. You know why? Because you don't look like them. You can do what you want to do, but you're just going to do it because my father was a prison guard. So that's why. So that's
Wow,
how
that's
my
crazy.
father's like, listen,
My
you can
mom's
do what you want to, Bucko. You're
that's
gonna
crazy.
be right down
My
there
mom's
at that state prison with me, but you're gonna be on the other side.
no. That's wild. My mom's a prison psychiatrist.
But well, there you have it.
And yeah, that shit is not fun. That's but actually I think we might get to that later because there's a whole private like this is also a ploy in order to feed into the prison industrial complex, right? Because you're gonna have all these people that don't have insurance that in order to pay for things, guess what they have to resort to? They're gonna have to resort to resource theft. They're gonna have to resort to people are gonna suddenly not be able to afford their insulin, even when they said, "Oh, we're making it $35," because everything else is gonna go up, right? Like having insulin isn't just the issue. What about I'm showing a little bit of the lack of my knowledge, but the reader that goes in your arm, that takes that for some reason takes a subscription to keep working in some models. When that goes from $20 to $50 a month, what do? I guess you're just gonna faint now. I guess you just gotta make sure you always keep a Twix on your body, right? It's just
You're either
crazy.
gonna oh, if you keep some peppermints in your pocket so you don't die.
Like I don't understand this. I swear to God, last thing I want to say until we get even more mad because then we're gonna watch some MSNBC coverage. But I don't understand anymore the philosophy of individualism. I was gonna try to make it more poetic than it has to be, but like I guess maybe the true radicalization moment is the moment you're like, you know what? I think the idea of you can do it by yourself, that you can do it, that you must do it, is a scam. I feel like I already naturally know what I can do. And like I'm actually like I don't need to be convinced that I can do the most I can do within a team. I feel like the harder thing for most people to realize is that you must be a team that like you must organize. You like your strength is within the collective. Um, it's almost as if like to realize that would make you more powerful than people who were not good at like being social, but wanting to accumulate a whole bunch of wealth or something. I don't know. I don't know. But
I was talking to Bellamy about this the other day. I think and what Bellamy has said, and I agree with this, is that I think the reality is that a lot of people are fine with the system as it is. You know what I mean? A lot of people, and this is part of the reason why we so much stock into, you know, public officials, into elected officials, is that people want to. I don't think I think people understand that the system is and this is why I try to avoid using the phrase "the system is broken" because it ain't broken. It's working exactly the way that it was designed to work. But I think that people are conscious of that, but they don't want to admit that because then that means you gotta do something. That means you gotta do a little bit more than just, post about Mamdani, area of the day. I mean, you gotta do a little bit more than
Mhm.
just vote and then, sit on your hands for the whole rest of the year. I just don't think that enough people are inconvenienced enough to be pushed over that hump of actually saying, all right, we actually got to mobilize for real now.
I think I 100% agree with both you and Bellamy, and I think that's what makes this caving on the government shutdown like not even frustrating, but like infuriating, right? Because it sort of signals to me that they knew that we might be getting close. We might have been getting close to the
Yeah.
like what I keep referring to as like the realpolitik, right? The real politic is violence, is pain. Like, cause I wouldn't know, like, I 100% agree with you. And I've been sort of resolved from this from really from like 2016, but like definitely um, from 2020. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no. People have to like, this needs to affect people personally before they start
Yeah.
having the imagination to get the solutions that we need. They might understand logistically the like intellectually the problem, but they won't move to the logistics to have the political will inside themselves until suddenly someone they not even someone they know, someone they interact with daily, until they themselves are affected by this. And when those
Not even that
when those premiums
until
went
it's
up,
them personally.
yeah, and
I
when
said not
your
even
yeah,
that until it's
to be
them
fair, yeah,
personally.
yeah. So when your premiums went up, right? When your tax bill went up, and you got less care,
Yep.
and you went to do and you took your kid to do their eyewear exam, and then suddenly them phrases like $500 with insurance, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, no, I don't vote with this at all. Oh, I don't vote with this at
Yep.
all. And then suddenly you're gonna be like, oh, I guess they were lying. I guess all those news outlets were lying, huh? I guess no matter what they're telling me now, I'm simply going to vote the opposite way they are now telling me to go vote. Because that's like ultimately like how the American consumer works for most of it. But it is the idea that, to me, that the Dem establishment understood we were getting to that precipice and saw that in Mondani and saw that in Mondani's win, possibly.
Mhm.
That they were like, yeah, we gotta kill this. We literally have to kill the momentum at the cost of this
Yeah.
bigger fight. And that's what's both disappointing and scary. And I think that's a good transition into sharing into this clip from the last word we learned from MSNBC, because I, after everything I just said, right, I was very interested when it came up on my screen for some reason, um what what the liberal take was gonna be. Because I did see from like
Yeah.
the Brian, whatever his name is, and like the Pod Bros, that most libs, most like average Americans are mad about this, mostly because like they can understand this. I believe like in a sort of game like sense, right? We love in a sports like
Yeah.
sense. They're like, hey, why the hell why the hell were we driving down the field, and then all of a sudden like we decided to run on or we decided to pass on 4th and 1. Like, this makes no sense. Like, I think we were doing just fine. Um so I was really interested in how they were gonna to twist it. And the Dem copium is crazy.
Mhm. This title is just wild to me off rip. The Democrats are closer to getting the Epstein files. How? How did this get you close? First of all how? Second of all, who cares? in the context, I mean, in the context of we talking about right now, how is the thing? How
I
is
did mean
what you
Tyler
pull
Cohen.
out of
Thank you.
this? Oh, we finna get the Epstein files. All right, bro, what is that going? I'm still gonna die because I can't get insulin. How is me gonna know what I already know about who was over there messing with little
This is
kids? How
this
is
is
that? What is that?
someone this is someone pissing on this is someone pissing on your shoe and then them being like, but bro, like, yo, gas just went down 2 cents though. So like, you know, like
That's
like
just a
this,
wild title to me. We closer
the
to the Epstein file. Like, I
so you
got kids to feed.
already understand how they have to come at this, right? Like
Right.
they just so utterly defeated themselves that they're like, hey,
You know what this is?
but if we think about
This is a
other
Family Guy joke in a news headline.
no,
You know how
this is
they
some
say
onion. This is like
Family Guy.
I'm honestly surprised the Onion still has a job. I feel like the Onion actually has the
I'm
hardest job
surprised too.
in fucking satire right now. Because what are we doing right now? That's why I had that, like, I
What
couldn't be the only person mad at this. Because what the fuck are we doing right now? All right.
can't hear it.
You can hear it. You can't hear it. Chat, can y'all hear it? Yep. Y'all could not hear that. Okay. It's in STEM.
Second term, Donald Trump has set the record again for the new longest government shutdown in history. The end of the government shutdown was forged when 5 Senate Democrats, and only 5, changed their position in a compromise that forced every Senate Republican to change their positions, while it also forced Donald Trump to change his position. And it has forced every Republican members of the House of Representatives to now change their positions. So this is
What the hell is he talking about?
I don't know. He's
You
just
just,
saying a
you
bunch
just,
of everything and
did
nothing
he just
at
say
this
he
point.
just 5 Democrats forced Republicans to change their positions? Is the change
Which
position
made
in the
Trump
room
change
with us,
his
sir?
position.
What position did they change? They didn't want health care. We still don't have health care.
Right. Like
Like,
that was literally the whole point was
that
to
is the only thing
deregulate
we're
and they
fighting.
got it. They got what they wanted.
And what I want you to see here is that they're trying to, like, do this goalpost moving thing where, like, they're like, oh, but we got funding for SNAP. This shit was never about
That was
SNAP.
already that was
SNAP
already
only
going to
happened
happen.
because the government shut down. Right? It's
And that was
because
all
it's
that had nothing to do with Congress. That was the courts that did that.
like, so what
The
the fuck are
courts
we talking
ordered them
about?
to funds that had nothing to do with the vote. So what is they? Oh
Right. We
Jesus!
were gonna get SNAP.
Oh my
We were
God!
gonna get SNAP back anyway because they
Right, we were getting
legally
snapped
had to do it.
regardless.
So, like, right? Yeah. We're gonna play some more, and then we're gonna do low-key. We're gonna do some conspiracy theories because I some of this I still can't quite process.
5 Democrats who changed their position, and 53 Republican senators, 217 Republican House members, and 1 Republican president, a total of 271 Republicans who changed their positions and are now supporting a version of a budget bill that they said they would never support, and 5 Democrats who changed their position to vote for that same bill.
When did they? Is that true? Can someone fact check that? Did the Republicans say they would never vote for like any bill, because I'm sure one that capitulated to all their demands, they'd be happy to support that. Like, what are
So basically, what he's trying to argue is that they outsmarted their outsmarting by saying, all right, we'll vote for this bill if y'all pinky promise to do the things that the court is going to force you to do anyway. We going to go ahead
if you swear on your moms, you promise to follow the rules this time. It's great.
And in what way do you logic that out to turn that into a win?
Like, Mitchell, the change was a guarantee of a vote on a Dems written bill extending ACA substances. It was right. You need more quotes on there. Like, to accurately support the guarantee, it needs to be at least 3 sets of quotes. A guarantee really on the concept of a vote. What time? Who knows? What day? I think it needs to be before the end of the year. I don't know if they just got they got funding through January 26th. I also totally forgot to go back and even say what they got through all this. But I'll be honest, I have a very informed citizenry. Wait, what did Deirdre call us? Color kinds, color community out here. So I know you already know what we didn't get and what we got nothing. That's the thing. People. I want to play. I honestly want to go to another MSNBC clip right now and play one of the correspondents responding to the nigga from Morning Joe, I think, saying like, so what did we get from this bill? And then she's just long pause and she's like, so and then she just fumbles like for 40 seconds. Cause like, I honestly think even the Democratic media's caught off guard of like, oh, y'all did not give us no warning signs that like this week was gonna be the week we were gonna fold. I thought we get like a presser or something.
These niggas is just making it up as they go along at this point.
And that's so scary.
That is the scary part. They don't that's the thing. They don't even have a plan.
Who caved here? What does caved mean?
Y'all did. What you mean? What you mean? What's the question? You, brother.
Yo,
you.
Nah, you know what's crazy? Yo. Nah, what's crazy? Cause you know a man lost when he starts for the definition of words. It's like, so what exactly do we mean by cave? Like put in the dictionary.
It depends on what your definition of sex is.
No, hold up. I totally forgot this now, but I swear to God, if he brings up the definition of cave, I'm gonna delete myself.
But this being Washington, the 5 change votes on the Democratic side versus the 271 Republicans changing their position is being generally reported as the Democrats, meaning all of them, the Democrats abandoning their position, the Democrats caving, the Democrats losing the shutdown.
They did, yes.
So 5 Democrats changed their position, 271 Republicans changed their position to arrive at a compromise position. And it's reported as just the Democrats caving. Now, if we want...
Now, don't you hate when, you have a totally avoidable vote that, kills the majority of not only your party, but, the American public, and people just blame you because you totally gave up on them? Don't you hate when you manufacture a way to just let the minimum amount of senators throw the American people into the jaws of neoliberalism, and then people get mad at you? But guys, it was only 8, and one of them was a guy in a tracksuit. We tried, right? It was just the 8. that couldn't be primary. Listen,
I can't. What is he talking
to use
about?
the word cave in place of the word compromise. 271
Oh my
Republicans,
God.
including Donald Trump, caved to just 5 Democrats. Not 8, just 5.
Oh,
because
Jesus.
3 Democrats were already voting with the Republicans on this. 271 Republicans changed their position to accept
how
the demands of
and
5
when
Democrats
and
that
when this
created these 60
happened?
It's the
When
quick
is
change.
where? How?
It's the slick word. Say 270. Change
When
the
did
what? No.
271 Republicans
Yeah,
change
honestly,
their
sir.
position?
Please, sir, tell me exactly what the old position was and what the new change
Do you
position
have
was that they changed
writing
to.
to verify this?
Oh my God.
vote majority
Like,
in
I'll
the
be
Senate
sitting
to
here
pass a
and
bill.
I'll be saying to
And what
myself,
did
all right,
those
am I
Democrats
stupid? Because I'm not understanding.
Like,
I
I
feel
swear
like
I
I
got an
might be
education.
stupid.
I
I'm not
swear to God,
understanding.
I went to the white people schools. I swear to God, I swear to God, I understand English. And then sometime, but this is what I'm getting into too. Now I'm trying to hold this this cosmic thing in here. Cosmic, where is he going with this? Buckle the fuck in, because like I
It
want you to
gets
know this was on
worse.
cable. Just buckle the fuck in. This
Oh my
was on
God.
cable. This was on cable television. Your parents were watching this. I guarantee you. And this is how they were being framed, what's going on. Because no, they're distraught like us. They also see this as like an obvious L. And they're looking to this man at 11 o'clock of news for what to do. And this is what he's telling them how to feel about it.
achieve? Well, those 5 Democrats in the Senate to pass a bill. And what did those Democrats achieve? Well, those 5 Democrats forced Republicans, including Donald Trump, to agree to, first of all, they forced Donald Trump, who's been trying to stop funding supplemental nutrition assistance, to increase funding for food stamps. Increase it. That is not nothing.
He had
the 5 Democrats who changed their position managed to not just guarantee supplemental nutrition assistance funding for almost a year, but they actually got it increased. And no Republican wanted to do that. Donald Trump didn't want to do that. No Republicans wanted that. So they caved, if that's the word we're going to use, on that. The Republicans did.
So brother, you are a political I'm assuming you have a background in investigative political journalism. You have been doing this for decades. Since when do we take any elected official's word at face value? Did they teach you this in just regular life? Is don't ever take a man's word unless you get it in writing, unless you got a lawyer present. So where
even the niggas that even conservative likes, even the niggas that conservative like, fucking Reagan said what? Trust, but verify.
You don't take
in writing.
You don't take a verbal agree from people in your own party. So where are these guarantees that you're talking about?
Like,
oh my. Oh, and the thing that really throws me is that, again, the courts literally did this like on Friday. On Friday, the court said you have to fund SNAP. You cannot deny these people they've been. Matter of fact, it wasn't even on Friday. It was in October. It was at the end of October that they said this, is that you cannot,
we've just
you cannot not give these people food stamps because you want to be an idiot. That was the courts, not the Democrats.
So honestly, stolen ballot on that point. And like, It is
Oh Jesus!
the only and no one but the Republican, no one but the Trump cabinet even cared about taking SNAP benefits. Even, and that wasn't even their main point. That was on the periphery. Because I mean, all they care about is just making sure
Right,
people
that was
die.
just a
They just want to
byproduct.
make sure they right. They
That
just
was
want,
just a
of making sure
byproduct of shutting the government down.
Exactly. They just want the government dismantled, and that's what I hate the most. Because what I can agree with, right, is that Republicans do want the government to just stay shut down, right? Like the longer the government shut down, it kind of didn't bother. It was always going to bother Democrats more than Republicans. That's not the fucking only point, though. The point was that even if Republicans don't care, they don't deal in reality. We needed to bring reality to them because, like we said before, people don't understand um the stakes until it affects them personally. And eventually we were gonna get to a point to where the Republicans' constituents were gonna be like, hey, we want to go back to fucking work. I don't know what you guys are doing.
They were
Turn
already
the
at
fucking
that
switch
point.
back on.
That's
We
the
were that
thing.
close. We were
They were
already
at
close.
that point. They were there. They were cracking. If you look at the approval numbers, they were at the brink of breaking.
Like we were, they could not have lasted for that much longer. I truly did believe before Thanksgiving we were gonna get a like the week of Thanksgiving we were gonna get a better resolution of this. I did see, for a different reason, for a different video, I was checking out the congressional calendar, and I did see the next week they do have the week off, and I was like, it's kind of weird they have the week off next week, because I mean, is it Thanksgiving next week? Thanksgiving's in 2 weeks.
The week after.
Yeah, right. I was like, it's weird. They just get this random week off. Then I hear they passed like a motion to give themselves this week off, like earlier in the year, like last year or some shit. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So by this week they need to have it figured out, because I really don't think they can go on a vacation safely, knowing that the government is still shut down. And then if it's still shut down by then, like now we're going into the holiday season, like they're gonna fuck with the economy, right? So to see Democrats caving on this when like we literally were, yeah, right here. We were heading the straight revolution, and I think Dems understood that. That's the scary part to me. I think the 4D chess move, it was not in our favor of like, oh, we're going to do something later. We got a guarantee or some other fucking bullshit. It was like, no, they looked at us, and that's what I want us to always understand on the show, right? They are so fucking afraid of us. They like, we're not dumb. There's not, it doesn't even take that many not smart people to get a revolution going. I think someone says like it takes like 20% of people to make social change. They are very afraid of us because they know that we're more than capable, especially right now in this moment, of taking back the power that we've ceded to them. So they were like, oh, the Republicans don't. I honestly feel like the Democrats are like, the Republicans are too stupid to understand the power they're playing with, and like being the real adults in the room are being the real old money aristocrats in the room, in a sense, and saying like, okay, we need to quell this now. The power imbalance is getting way too unstable. We need to solidify it so that we can continue to puppeteer it, like we usually do. Not this like firebrand way in which you guys might fuck around and like storm the Capitol again, but this time y'all going for everybody's heads. I went off on a rant there because I don't know, this shit makes me so mad. And so we're gonna head right back into it.
Right here. I genuinely feel like I'm stupid watching this.
Like I feel like I'm going
feel like I'm
insane.
stupid.
Even a bunch of MAGA voters were ready for blood because they were like, bro, they were looking for an excuse. By the way, that's Republicans' fault, right? MAGA's base got primed that we were gonna have a civil war, and then they got into power, which they weren't expecting. I'm not even gonna hold you. That's really the real fatal flaw of the entire plan. Republicans were never expecting to win because they were like, how the fuck after white people said racism was over, are we ever gonna win a platform of bigotry, anti-immigration, and anti-poor people? And then they fucked around and found themselves in all three chambers, and are now like, well, I guess we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. You guys aren't gonna like it, and I guess we're gonna keep riding it until into the wheels fall off. But they've primed but they won based on hyping up their base for a civil war, and now they're in the position of power, and they never considered, hey, what happens when your MAGA base finds out the real civil war wasn't right versus left, but it was up versus down, and all them Second Amendment right people start coming for your Tesla instead. But hey, Bellamy, that crazy time to see me
exactly. That's why I don't watch. I'm going.
I don't
insane.
I want you to know I very hardly watch any of this.
insane.
I don't know how the hell this shit found itself on my fucking For You page or fucking recommended. Sometimes for like videos, like right for research, we all have that feeling where you gotta go do some research, like just cause I naturally don't get any fucking liberal news, right? I don't really know how like the average normie takes a lot of news events, so I gotta dip my toe in to see like, okay, like I feel like this is a common sense perspective to have. Let's see how everybody else feels about this, and then I get this. This is the first thing that I fucking get.
I got 2 degrees and none of this makes sense to me. None of it.
I got a whole ass CPA, bro. I got a whole ass CPA, 2 degrees too. This shit.
And all the Republicans are caving to that demand by those 5 Democrats for their votes. That's one of the things the 5 Democrats got for their votes. The 5 Democrats also obtained a guarantee to rehire every federal worker Donald Trump has fired during the government shutdown, every one of them. 4,000 people will get their jobs back, and they will get back pay because of this compromise that 5 Senate Democrats forced.
So he's doing the thing that we've criticized him for, that I think even probably he himself has criticized Trump for, which was starting a fire, then putting out the fire, and then trying to take credit for putting out the fire that he started. What do you mean it's a win to give people back the jobs you illegally took for them, to give them back the money you illegally stole from them? What are we talking about? They have to do that. You already had to do that. My God.
On 271 Republicans, including Donald Trump. The compromise also forces Donald Trump to deliver back pay to all federal workers, every one of them, affected by the Trump shutdown, something Donald Trump was trying to avoid. Donald Trump was trying to become the first president in history to deny back pay to every government worker affected by the shutdown. And those 5 Democratic senators got that back pay guaranteed. That is not nothing. They got something. They didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get everything. They didn't get the big thing. They got something.
And that's the oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's the point, brother. That is the point, Bucko.
My brother in Christ.
That is it right there. That is the whole point. They did not get what they wanted. This was the whole point. They did not get what they wanted. What did they want? Is they wanted to preserve the ACA as is, and they did not get that. All they got was a promise that certain provisions would not be taken out, which good luck with that.
And they got an extension to an issue that was caused by the only levers they had. Only read the SNAP benefits are getting the year-long thing. Is actually the stupidest capitulation ever. It's saying, let's do this again next year, but this time you can't use the SNAP benefits. Find a different program. Find a different community.
And the thing is
that's the only.
Food stamps wasn't even the main. Food stamps was just collateral damage. That wasn't even the main point. The food stamps thing was just collateral damage for why there was no budget. That wasn't even the point. And that's basically what the court says, that you cannot punish these people because y'all can't get y'all stuff together.
Exactly.
Oh, I hate everybody involved with this.
No, bro. Oh my god. I'm glad we exploded at the
I
same
hate
time because
everybody that's
like that shit threw me. That shit actually threw me. I was like, what do you that
oh,
they got because it's one thing to like be soft to try to say, hey, we lost. Hey, I get this is confusing. To try to cope and trying to lick your wounds what you got. It's another to lie, to like completely reframe
this
reality. Right? It's another to
you
just
know what this
outright
is?
like
You, you
what's
know
this?
what
What's
this
this?
is? I forget what it was. It was some good. Matter of fact, I think it was when we had played the Cowboys. And you know, Micah, I love Micah, but Micah need to just shut up sometimes. And Micah said, yeah, you know, if you look at the scoreboard, it said we lost like 40 something to like 20 something. But if you take away this play and you take away that play, and you take I mean, they only had like 2 or 3 long runs, and that's the
No.
point, Micah. That's the point.
No, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful metaphor for what it's, and I'm sorry for this because y'all good now, but like as a beautiful metaphor for what it's like to when you play for a losing ass team. Cause that's the same way I used to think about the Wizards when
Oh
I
my
kept up with
god.
them. When like they would lose by 8 points, and I'm like, okay, they lost by 8 points, but when you really think about it, if that 3 didn't go in, if we hit that shot, you know, they really only lost by 4. You know, which
Oh, that's literally what he's doing. That when you really think about it,
and once again, it'd be
was
another
a
thing. Like
loss
now,
really a loss?
you know, imagine Wahali, like if last Tuesday didn't go well for some reason, if it went the worst way possible, and like somehow even more conservatives got in, I don't know, flipped all these fucking blue states. That'd be one thing. Like this would be one thing, right? To be like we are actually like defeated. And for like I'd actually like in a one way support that would show me like the Democrat Party is like just completely imploding. They've given up everything, and I kind of be excited to see where they would want to go from there. But once again, we had momentum. We had one of like for a lot of libs and a lot of normies, and like even for us, right? By seeing them get excited, one of the most exciting weeks for Democrats and the progressive causes, and to be like, hey, it was just time to pack it in. We had we didn't have any more leverage. And I put this thing on a community post that like and I think that's what struck me when I first watched the clip. The true issues that I have with Democrats is that I see a version of myself in them, and it was the version of me that used to like the Democrats, and now I know why I got bullied when I was in fucking high school. Because Democrats Democrats like work with the same energy of dealing with like their high school bully, like when they see them at a high school reunion, and still being fucking scared, right? It's like they're not trying. When we say not trying to
Yeah.
play, it's only in America that we've kind of like gamified all of our language in this very like gladiatorial language. But like they're not willing to actually fucking stand to show us, hey, you have some consistency in what you're gonna go balls to the walls for. Because when I look over to the other side, I know what they're gonna go balls to the wall for. They go balls to the wall for immigration. They go balls to the wall like they're gonna die on the hill of fucking pro-life, even though it makes no sense to me. But like they will do that. There's not a single goddamn issue the Democrats have that I feel they would do that on. And this proves it, right? Because they're literally, I now realize in like the discussions, because most of this politicking must be happening. At the end of the day, politicking is debate. I think they're literally afraid of the Republican senators. I think they're such pussies that like the way Southern and more hard nosed Republicans talk, like especially probably behind closed doors, actually make like they're actually fucking betas to them, and so they were not prepared to go as long as the Republicans were prepared to go for the shutdown, and that's a fucking shame. That's a fucking shame when you look at the circumstances and you're like, well, the Republicans like they're going to be accountable to all this, and the thing that makes them, excuse me. And the thing that makes it even more damning is that the Republicans knew this. They're clapping their fucking asses off right now. They were like, our only win condition, we don't even need the whole, like, y'all acting like we need the whole Democratic Party. We don't need the whole Democratic Party. We just need fucking Chuck Schumer and 7 other fucking people. That's it. Republicans have won for the past 10 years. And they even said this shit in their own documentary. I think who's the Steve Bannon is like, all they learned how to do was play margins. They just play the margins. That's how they got Trump the first time. That's how they got the red wave. They're just like, we just need a couple of people and we're going to stack the deck. So we need the least amount of input as possible. And what did they do? They were like, we're going to wait it out until the oldest of the Dems, the ones that are the most invested in status quo, have to fucking crack. And now I'm getting ahead of myself. We're still gonna we're gonna get through. I'm probably not gonna get through this whole thing, but we'll get through maybe half of it.
This compromise is Tim Kaine of Virginia. They didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get everything. They didn't get the big thing. They got something. It should not be surprising that one of the 5 senators in this compromise is Tim Kaine of Virginia, where he represents.
You hate to see it from Virginia.
Federal government workers per capita working in and around Washington, D.C. It should also not be surprising that both of the Democratic senators from Nevada joined the compromise that will avoid the airport nightmares that were looming in America for Thanksgiving and Christmas if the shutdown continues. Las Vegas, Nevada is completely dependent on reliable air traffic into Las Vegas to feed the local economy, the biggest economy in Nevada. Las Vegas has other problems now with Canadians boycotting tourism in America, but the airport nightmare was something that Nevada's Democratic senators decided after 40 days they simply could not abide.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, I know, over 40 million Americans are going to lose their health care. And, the majority of them are probably going to, die because of the policies of a sociopathic political party. But our state budget is really wrapped up in those airplanes, buddy. So, you know what Kanye say? Gotta testify. We gonna touch the sky, ain't we?
I refuse to believe that he believes what's coming out of his mouth. I refuse to believe that he believes this. Ain't no way.
I kept looking at his eyes. Yeah, I was like Lawrence, blink twice, bro. The bag has to be fat. The bag gotta be wet, bro. I swear.
What do airplanes and casinos got to do with health insurance? What does that have to do?
That's so much more simple.
With health insurance? Because this whole time, if you were none the wiser, you would think that, and that's the thing that we got to keep coming back to, is that this was never about food stamps. It was never about that.
But healthcare and tax cut for billionaires.
That's what it was about. The food stamps were collateral damage. It had nothing to do with any
collateral damage.
Exactly. Federal workers were collateral. All of that was collateral damage to say we're going to end Obamacare by hook or by crook. Specifically, we're going to go back to telling fat people, y'all can't get insurance because you're too fat. Y'all can't get insurance because your blood pressure too high, or because you pregnant,
or because your daddy has high blood pressure.
Deregulate. Exactly. The whole point was so that we could go back to 2012, 2011, where we could say, all right, we ain't going to cover you because you're going to cost us too much money and we're not going to make enough profit. That was the whole point, was so that we could turn the insurance industry into the finance industry of 2008. That was the whole point of this. And at no point does he mention that. He keeps talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the whole point of the shutdown to begin with.
I literally feel like AI right now.
That's the thing that's driving me insane.
Airplanes? We talk about airplanes?
We talking about airplanes.
Like, this is crazy.
We're talking about airplanes. Not insurance.
Dying, bro.
Not insurance. We talking about practice, man.
See, I'm with Bellamy
Practice.
here. Like, yeah,
Not a game.
he really is up there convincing himself. And like, I don't know how much you guys think about this. I don't know if you guys also. I mean, you know, you and me are both YouTubers, so I feel like that means we both have we're both black male YouTubers, so we both 85% chance we both have the same dream of the fact that we're born in the wrong generation, and we both would have been radio announcers or radio hosts in like a different era in the 80s and 90s, and or
Yeah, I definitely would
newscasters.
have been.
Exactly. See, yeah, like we both know what we were actually truly meant to be. But I think about this all the time when I watch other newscasters. I'm like, what are they reading from the teleprompter versus when are they like improvising or
Exactly.
vamping, right? And I'm like, okay, he's saying some stuff and like there's cuts here, right? Like he has to flash towards like these graphics. So like, how much of this was he really wrote this down, bro? He really sat there in his office and said,
He is
what does it mean
reading
to
all
cave?
of this. He is reading notes from off of that teleprompter. That is what
they got to be
doing.
notes from management.
There is no way he believes
and a straight like somebody
saying.
holding him at gunpoint right in front of the camera, being like, "Yeah, there we go. Just read it.
Gotta
nice and slow.
be
Nice and slow."
Cause there's no cause how we get and I still want to know. All right, so I still want to know how we get to the Epstein files from all of this.
And then
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
And then I told you it got worse, right?
Because now
it got worse, and we're still not there. We're still not at the worst because you still need to figure out. Because mind you, I clicked on this damn video. I clicked on this damn video because I saw Epstein files return. Because I'm sitting here thinking, oh, he got like there's some updated news about either homegirl getting sworn in, or like, I don't know, maybe they got a stipulation. I don't know. Hail Mary, that would have been something for some sector of the base if they said we got a special provision in there that the Epstein files will be released. Don't know who it would be for. Like, it wouldn't change Lucy's healthcare, but like, get me something.
At least connect the dots, man. You sound worse.
But like,
we're in a barbershop hotel right now. That's
bro,
what he said. You sound worse,
bro.
Than,
just yapping.
Than a
just
man with a poofy right now.
Works and how the country runs, which does not include Donald Trump. People who care about that, including our air traffic control system, for them, government shutdowns are actually painful every day. They're not a stunt. They're not a tactic. They're not a strategic tactic. They are painful. Government shutdowns are full of pressure every day for people who care about this government actually running and running well. And that pressure of a government shutdown gets greater every day. Some people who have never been in the room with a senator feeling that pressure seem to think that it's easy for senators from Nevada to do nothing to end the government shutdown that is ruining American air travel. People who have never seen or heard a majority or minority leader of the Senate actually try to persuade a senator on how to vote seem to think that it's easy. If you haven't worked in the Senate, you haven't actually seen it happen. It is not televised. It happens.
Well,
on the
guess
Senate
what?
floor
I have
privately and don't have
state
microphones.
government.
It happens in the leader's office.
Here's where we get to the
I have been in these rooms. I have been in these rooms, and they are not nearly as pressed as he's trying to make. They trying to get home for the holiday.
Bro, act like this shit's House of Cards.
Nearly as pressed as you trying to make.
Bro, acting like they're doing Russian roulette.
He really is. I ain't saying that they don't care, but they not sitting there pulling their hair out. What they saying, they is just like any other 9 to 5. Is like, all right, we gotta figure something out because I'm trying to go home and eat this hamburger helper, man. You know, I got this lasagna in the oven. It's finna burn, dog. It is not that deep.
It's not, bro.
That deep.
And like the coping too of like, you know, you wouldn't make the decision. And that's my thing, right? You know you would not have made the decision. So how can you cape this hard for a decision you can't even understand? Also, chat is going off today. This is like when you got to reach word count on an essay you don't know what else to say. Y'all are hilarious. But it's like,
I still want to know how we get to Epstein.
I swear to God, we gonna get there. But it's like
the airplanes,
right? Like we're at airplanes right now, bro. We're at airplanes right now. We started with Snap. Sorry, once again, we have to remember this.
We started
with healthcare.
We started with food stamps.
We started with healthcare. We started with ACA, bro.
Did he ever even mention that though? Did he mention that? Because I don't remember him mentioning that.
That's what they refused to say. They refused to say
stamps.
They refused to say. Oh, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like actually narratively, right? This all starts with ACA, with them trying to gut ACA, and like he can't even say. He refused to say out loud that like to remind us that they did not get anything, not concessions, not even a conversation, right? They got an agreement to a future concept of a conversation by some point in time in the future. He can't, because like that's so to even put that on the table makes anything you say so null that like why even use the fucking airtime? You think Schumer called this man before he wrote this show?
Yes, I promise you he did. I guarantee you. I guarantee he did.
Because you know they're in the same group chats. You know they're in the same Facebook groups. For sure, bro hit him say, hey, look, man, they killing me out. They're killing me on X right now. Just give me something.
He said, don't forget the airplanes. Thanksgiving is coming up. Don't forget to tell them.
Here's all our usual tools.
If it had not been for me, they was not going to be able to travel now.
Like, but what I want to say is like right now, he's trying to say like, hey, governing is hard. Sometimes you don't get what you want. Y'all didn't do anything. Like it. Or sorry, I don't like this in bad faith saying that like Democrats care, and that's why
they don't
every day the government open hurts us. Bitch, stop lying. You don't fucking care as much as the Republicans do. The American people were behind you, like for much longer than we've been in now to fight against the Republicans because they are the people choosing to shut down the government. Why the hell, when everybody in your base agrees that they are doing the bad thing, would you come in and be like, hey, we're going to stop the bad thing. We're going to stop the short-term bad thing. You're still going to get the long-term bad thing, but we're just going to stop the short-term bad thing because
that was going to stop anyhow.
The planes, you know? This rewriting of saying like, hey, you know, they basically took what they could get. Yeah, we're gonna keep circling back around to this, but they didn't get anything, which makes you say, why would you cave now then when you got nothing? If it was like that for real, show me your hand. And it makes, to be honest, oh my God, I'm just lining it up. Did they do this for the mid? Did they do this for the off cycles? I don't know what the hell we call the election cycle that just passed. Like, did they low-key want to reopen the government, but they were like, they already know how unpopular that would have been if they did it before last Tuesday. Like, people still would have, like, they still would have voted Democrats because that's how much they hate Republicans, but maybe they would have hated them even more, that people would have, like, just not gone out to vote. Right? Because if this shit happened, I definitely probably would, like, I don't think anybody would have been excited to vote in New York, to be honest. Because we're like, what's even going on right now? I just kind of put that together. I don't know if that's a fully fleshed thought, but all right, we still got to get you to Epstein, and I'm not going to spoil it because you need to see, you have to see the way. What I put in my notes was like,
I know
you ever had, just like in the barbershop, you ever had the oldest person in the barber?
Because I'm being loud.
I'm sorry, I got you all activated, but I'm happy I'm not. You're letting me know I'm not crazy. That like this isn't a wild thing to be on national television, to like let this, like, journalist. This is a journalism fucking major, you know, like decades on the air.
He's a journalist. He's a journalist by trade.
I think he's about to say like he worked in state offices. He worked for congressmen.
Just off the Senate floor. And it happens in the Mansfield room and the LBJ room just off the Senate floor. Those rooms were named for previous Senate majority leaders who were thought to be masters of the Senate. Democratic senators meet in the LBJ room. The minority party meets in the LBJ room for their group lunches. The majority party meets in the Mansfield room for their group lunches. No reporter, no pundit who claims expertise in this arena has ever been allowed in one of those rooms while those meetings were happening. No authors of books about political science have ever been allowed in those rooms. They have no idea what it's like for a Democratic leader of the Senate trying to guide every Democrat in the Senate in a room together at the same time. Very few Senate staffers are.
My guys, you don't understand. It's really hard to not kill people. You guys just have no idea. You plebeians could not understand how hard it is to follow what people want. You guys don't know how democracy works. Sometimes losing is the point. Did you ever think of that? No, you didn't, because you didn't go to Penn. You didn't go to Dartmouth.
I mean, if you take away this play and you take away that play and you take away that 34-yard run, then I mean,
and look, and look, that flag was questionable. Let's look, if we got the coin flip at the beginning of the game,
the score right there. I mean, the score would have been close. I mean,
2 or 3 staff.
What I wanted to say was you ever talk to the oldest person in the barbershop, and then he just started telling a story, but every other word got footnotes on it, and then he just yeah, man, back in 75, gas was about 95 cents back then. Gas is a funny thing, back in the day, my daddy owned the gas plant, and plants is funny, his daddy almost was an iron plant. He died. And death is funny, man, my wife.
What are you talking about? This is what you're doing. You're just talking to be talking.
I was in that room many times in the 1990s when Bill Clinton was president, and a masterful Senate Majority Leader, George Mitchell of Maine, was running that room. There was a moment in those early Clinton years.
The exact moment. So he's saying, hey, y'all have no idea what it's like to be a fucking senator. You have no idea what it's like to just do your damn job. And then he goes into
very few Senate staffers are ever allowed in that room. There are usually no more than 2 or 3 staffers in that room. I was in that room many times in the 1990s when Bill Clinton was president, and a masterful Senate Majority Leader, George Mitchell of Maine, was running that room. There was a moment in those early Clinton years in that room when it seemed that the only reason 2 senators didn't start throwing punches is that they were seated too far apart from each other when they were yelling at each other. They were 2 men who fully respected each other, were very friendly with each other, usually voted the same way, but that day almost came to blows, because that's how tense it can be in that room.
What does this have to do about health care?
That is how important the work is. Those 2 senators had conflicting opinions that day, and both of them thought that what they wanted to do was the best thing for the country. That was not an egotistical shouting match. That was a shouting match about the future of this country, a shouting match about what this country needed at that moment. And luckily, at that moment, the most tense moment I've ever seen in that room, in the Mansfield room, John Glenn was in the room. John Glenn was in the room that day, a veteran Navy combat pilot.
Who the fuck
He was
is
the
John
first person to orbit the Earth as an astronaut. He was a hero to everyone in that room long before any of us ever met him. And in a soft voice, he
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know about the
FC.
FC.
How to work together. The Senate is lucky when it has.
I hate that I can't skip none of this, because you need every plot point to get to FC.
Everyone's admiration all the time. But Senator John Glenn was not a leader. He was never a leader. I never heard a senator say, I'm voting for it because John Glenn is voting for it.
Hey, kid, you like space shit? Well, guess what?
Back in my day,
John Glenn was in that room.
We slap box in the Senate, no water breaks. Oh, this is who leads our.
Really said, but you know what? Everything was cool because John Glenn came in and he told us about how him and Buzz Aldrin took a piss on the moon.
Listen, back then, gum only cost a. And a nice color boy always gave it to you.
There is no more difficult thing to try to do in the United States Senate than to lead.
This is an
Very few
SNL
senators
skit at
have
this
ever
point.
been able to do it, either at the committee level or at the majority.
I honestly can't
minority
believe they
leader.
still have it up at this point. I feel like we got to read the
Republican
comments
leaders of
after.
the Senate during the Trump era have not commanded party discipline. Fear of Trump voters in their states.
That's a damn lie. Actually, that might be the first like outright, even by its own standards, journalistic lie. The Republicans have incredible party discipline because they fucking stay together. They fucking stay behind that party line. That's what happens when you follow an authoritarian. Like, and that's the thing is like, I feel like he's even painting this as if like Chuck Schumer is incompetent. Like that's another thing, right? Like, let's talk about the ingenuousness of that, right? The bad faithness of that, because Chuck Schumer knows exactly what he's doing. He was just like whoever John Glenn, whoever the fuck was, right? He told these people, hey, here's how we're gonna vote. I know no one wants to do it, so I'm gonna take you 8 people, and you guys are gonna do it because you guys are getting primaried, but we're doing it. And I'm sure other people were like, why? And that's what I want to know. I want to know if I'm Candace Owens or something, if we're trying to get some more conspiracies, I want to know what the hell Chuck Schumer got to reopen the government. Cause that shit don't make no goddamn sense politically. So he had to have gotten something something super expensive personally, for that to make sense. Not like just money, or not only just money. Like something. He must have gotten something out of this.
What has commanded party discipline.
Okay, we're over
by
halfway.
Republicans in the Senate. Every Republican senator fears what will happen to them if they don't do what Donald Trump tells their voters in their states that they should do. The Democrats have never.
That is
had an
discipline.
enforcer like that, and never will.
That literally is discipline.
Chuck Schumer now has the impossible job of what the great George Mitchell and other majority leaders used to call herding cats. George Mitchell didn't mean that as an insult to Democratic senators. He meant that as a description of the degree of difficulty and complexity of trying to lead the United States Senate. It's like herding cats. Chat. Most outside observers have come to believe, it seems, that it's easy. That Chuck Schumer has easy decisions to make, clear, simple, easy.
Because it is.
And that may be because Chuck Schumer made the job look too easy. As the Senate Majority Leader during the Biden presidency, Chuck Schumer pulled off the most significant.
Whenever did Chuck Schumer make the job look easy? Unless he's saying the quiet part out loud, that the job of a Democrat Senate leader is to lose. Because if that's the job, if I didn't understand if they didn't teach me that part in civics class, Chuck Schumer doing a hell of a job. That man undefeated at losing. The fuck are you talking about, brother? Chuck Schumer made the job look too easy? What are you saying? Guys, is it centrist to chat? I have to know. Honest question. Poll. Is it centrist to want people to live? Is that, I really might need the both side argument on that. Is it centrist for insulin to be available? Just wondering, asking for a friend, asking for a friend's great grandpa. It's looking like.
Actually, Antifa.
Yeah, Antifa is wanting to know whether or not is it a central take to want housing for all. Well, the crazy thing is that why is it not a centrist take at all to think housing is a human right? You know, man, this devil be advocating.
String of 50 vote victories in the United
By
States.
the way, I think we're getting close.
Chuck Schumer did not have a majority of United States senators. Chuck Schumer was the leader of a 50-50 Senate for longer than any other leader in the history of the Senate. And Chuck Schumer could only get to 51 votes with Vice President Harris casting the tie-breaking 51st vote. But his legislative accomplishments during the Biden presidency and President Biden's legislative accomplishments were greater, especially when you consider the degree of difficulty, than any other president and any other Senate leader of our lifetimes. When Lyndon Johnson was the majority leader,
mind you,
no
they
one at the time
had
considered him
bro.
the Senate.
This is the third white guy from the '60s being brought up, bro. from the 70s or whatever the fuck.
And that's
Why am I getting a history lesson?
And that's an outright lie because they had a majority. They had a majority in the House, in the Senate, and they had the executive office when Biden was elected. That's why everybody was on them about student loans because they could have did it right then.
That's the reason why I call bullshit on this whole shit, bro.
2 years. Anything you wanted to do, every promise that you made up to 2020, you could have did it in the 2 years between you getting it. That's what, matter of fact, that's why y'all lost. That's why y'all lost in 22 because you didn't do anything with the power that you had. So not only is it a straight up lie. So basically, what you're telling me is that your job is to do nothing. Then is that Chuck Schumer's job was so hard because he couldn't manage because he had to keep finding excuses, keep finding reasons for why we can't do nothing but just sit on our hands and wait for the next election cycle. That's Bill, what you're saying.
No, Bill, that's wrong. That's wrong. I disagree with you there, Bill. I do disagree with you there. We got to give them more grace in that. The job is not to do nothing. Because they did nothing, the government would still be fucking shut down. Because that's all they fucking had to do. Was just keep doing nothing, right? The job, like I said, was to lose.
Find ways to lose.
Yes, is to lose.
To actively find ways to lose.
And Chuck Schumer is the GOAT.
That makes sense, then. If that's your job.
Chuck Schumer is the Doc Rivers of losing. As a Celtics fan, I can tell you, like Chuck Schumer, that man is the Doc Rivers of losing right now. Like I gotta give it up to him because he actually has innovated ways to to be controlled opposition. And that's kind of like, as a separate aside here, sort of like if there's any silver linings to be taken from here as progressives, as people on the left, I think that this is good for deprogramming, right? I guess we can at least claim that. In the sense of, I do think this has to be a moment a lot of fair weather people are like, bro, I've now have lived enough life, especially around our ages and that, and like Gen Z to millennial time band, to be like, okay, I've now lived enough life and I've been screwed over by the Democrats enough to know that, oh no, this is the game. This is why nothing's ever changed. Like, they literally don't want to do it. Not they can't do it.
Or you know what else you do? What else you do is you take this Thanksgiving when you go and you talk to your liberal-minded family members around the table. You show them this video. You just show them this video. Let them put the pieces of the puzzle together themselves, and they'll be sitting there scratching their head like we are now. Like,
I just send this to my dad, who always has MSNBC on whenever I come in the house. And I want to see what he says, because like I can tell he would be like, because he's going to listen, because like he's on. That's why I'm saying it's so scary, because he's on the news. He's been on the news for decades. People respect his voice. What Bellamy said it earlier in the chat, and like not listen to her as much anymore. But yeah, I think a lot of us are children who grew up watching Rachel Maddow. You know, even hardball with Chris Matthews for like a slightly like moderate conservative bent. Keith Olbermann. I'm really just thinking about Rachel Maddow right now. Whereas like, okay, yeah, there was like, you know, the Democrat point of view, and like it felt like it was based, even if it was based in party politics. It made sense. It was consistent. Everybody was on the same page. Therefore, they had like this ethos, this clout that went with them. My dad would spend the first 10 minutes being like, okay, I'm learning some history. I mean, maybe it is a little hard. And then it's got to be to the point when he gets to the Chuck Schumer made the job look too easy. Then would be like, oh God.
Yeah.
Don't blame me now. And then he'd be like, yeah, like this has to be satire.
Because
what, yo, hero chill?
I wonder how many dislikes.
When we go low, we shit ourselves. Literally, that's a new motto. No. When we go low, we cup our hands. That's a new Democratic slogan at the DNC. To be honest, when they go low, we grab 2 cups.
Lyndon Johnson had 65 Democrats on his side of the Senate. The legendary Mike Mansfield, the longest-serving majority leader, had 68
Chuck Todd,
Democrats.
that's the other guy I was thinking of.
With Lyndon Johnson as president and Mike Mansfield as the majority leader, they passed the Civil Rights Act in 1964 with 73 votes, with more than 24 Republicans voting for the Civil Rights Act. In 1965, Lyndon Johnson as president and Mike Mansfield as Senate Majority Leader passed the Voting Rights Act with 77 votes.
What does this
and
have
30
to
of those
do
votes
about
were from
us,
Republicans.
about healthcare?
That was an easier job than any day of Chuck Schumer's job.
He did not say that.
Oh my God.
Bro did not say passing the Civil Rights Act was harder than not getting ACA.
Louise.
Yo, that's crazy.
I'm legit mad now.
Two niggas had to die.
I'm genuinely mad. I'm genuinely mad now. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, nah. Definitely staying at home playing fucking Candy Crush is definitely as
passing
hard.
the Civil Rights Act was easier.
Not historically, hero.
Passing the Civil Rights Act was easier than keeping the government shut down.
Yeah, me when I'm off the edible, bro. Me when I'm off the
Mind
edible
you,
and I take
again,
the dab rig. To be honest, bro.
Mind you, we're not. Again, I'm trying to keep my voice down because it's late. This was never about food stamps because, as the courts ruled, they was always going to come back. If the courts did the right thing, they was going to come back because you can't do that. This was never about federal workers being out of work and not getting their pay because they was always going to get that payback. That's what a furlough is called.
Again, the legal rules.
This was about
the rules.
This was about deregulating the insurance industry so that we can tell people that you are too unhealthy to qualify for insurance. The only people that we are going to extend coverage to are people who are never going to use the coverage to begin with so that we can keep milking the profits off of it. That is what this was about from jump.
And I want to pull back too, to like just give a little bit more context, especially to people in the chat that might be like a little younger, like either younger actually or politically. Because I do remember being in middle school, and yes, because I'm a nerd, my dad like listened to NPR too much. I was tapped into what was going with Obamacare, and like I was interested in like why was it so hard when like as of course as a child when I heard hey he just wants to make healthcare affordable, I was like it sounds like a good idea. It sounds like what I see a president on Caillou do. Sounds like what they were supposed to be doing. You have to really remember that the Tea Party really does form around a lot of things, mostly between bigotry and just hating the fact the black man could possibly be in power. But one of the key issues that they were obsessed with was this idea of pre-existing conditions, because Obama and most healthcare advocates at the time, healthcare policy advocates at the time, said, hey, one of the things that's fucking up the healthcare thing that you could easily get rid of is this idea of pre-existing conditions, because it kind of is an inhumane concept. And they hated this. Insurance companies hated this. Private enterprises hated this. And who are all those people usually in line with? The Republican Party. So when Obama finally got that door knocked down, they got scared as fuck. Because they were like, okay, they're actually starting to make meaningful change around not just the regulations, not just the rules, because we can always figure out new rules. They're going at our actual infrastructure. They're fucking with our price modulator, right? For anybody into econ, right? Our price modifier is the fact that I can choose whether or not I want to, anytime I want to cut profits down, I could just insure less fat people. I could insure less diabetic people. I could just insure less old people because, or charge them more because, I deem them to be of a higher risk. So by Obama trying to make the our healthcare system more equitable literally caused a rebound effect that we are now coming to roost on. Because to Bill's point, that's why I wanted to provide all the context of what that phrase mean. Like this was the plan the whole time. Bill is correct. This whole the reason why they're fighting for this so much, and I think that a lot of the regular public gets lost in this, is that like 10, 15 years, what year is it? 25, 08, 13 years ago.
15, so yeah, around like 10. Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, we got 1 inch in making healthcare more equitable, and they were like, oh, that's a crack in the system. We need to repass the system. And they're fighting. When they say make America great again, they really do mean make America back to a time when it was profitable to be prejudiced, when we had legalized prejudice, whether that's segregation or even whether or not that's like a pricing discrimination. Right? Pricing discrimination is the capitalist's best friend, because wouldn't it be great if you could price everybody based on how gullible or how literally what they actually were willing to spend. So yeah. That'll make the clip.
This man said the Civil Rights Act was easier to pass. I
You can
can't
tell-
believe that.
I can tell when you was a kid, your family did not want to vote for that act. Like that's at least a report. I can tell your family did not support the Civil Rights Act when you were like you was the outlier in your family, maybe.
Lyndon Johnson, the so-called master of the Senate, had no idea what budget reconciliation was because it did not exist until a year.
Okay, just so you know, we're now moving to a new point, by the way. Let me show this.
And the process, shading LBJ.
Schumer's job. Lyndon Johnson, the so-called master of the Senate, had no idea what budget reconciliation was because it did not exist.
LBJ
bro said
of all people.
Bro said the inflammatory thing just to
more complex procedurally. In 1974, when the Budget Act was passed that created the Senate Budget Committee and the House Budget Committee and the complex parliamentary rules of budgeting that have created the budget reconciliation process, a process that Lyndon Johnson would have found maddening, a process far more complex than the most difficult parliamentary challenges that ever faced Mike Mansfield or Lyndon Johnson when they served as majority leader. Chuck Schumer lives and breathes those complexities, and no one in the news media truly understands them. It is impossible to understand the workings of an institution when the most delicate operations of that institution are conducted behind closed doors. In the Mansfield room, the LBJ room, the Senate offices, the leader's office. Never in front of cameras.
Bro really said, stop complaining, children. Mommy and daddy are arguing upstairs, and you guys have no idea what they're talking about, but it's grown up talk. Yeah, bro is peak oldest, is perfect oldest child, a golden child. Like, listen, I don't know why mom and dad said we couldn't have any more ice cream, but whatever the decision they made, it's in our best nature. It's for our best interest. Like you guys have no idea how hard it is to lose in creative ways over and over for years. It really takes commitment.
Chuck Schumer voted against the compromise that 5 members of his party negotiated. The Democratic leader of the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, is also against that compromise. Mike Johnson is a huge loser in this compromise because Mike Johnson's bill that he passed through the House of Representatives by 5 votes is not going to be signed into law. It's going to be ripped up. Mike Johnson has to bring all of his Republican House members back, and all of them have to change their positions to agree with just 5 Senate Democrats.
Go on this changing position.
Change their positions. And when Mike Johnson does that, the Epstein files come back to life.
No, Mike Johnson has to tear up his compromise. We broke Bill. I'm so sorry. Like, oh no. How will Mike Johnson ever recover?
I sat here and I watched the whole thing, and he finally got to the Epstein files, and somehow it makes even less sense than at the beginning. Even less sense.
We got to the Epstein chat. We got to the Epstein file.
This is the stupidest thing. Oh,
Thank you guys so much for tapping in with Tayo Tuesdays. I'm so glad we can have this journey together. Oh my god. You know, and like I feel like you really have
we
deserved a
went
bill.
from
But you
food
see why you
stamps
see why you had
to
there was no
airplane.
way you needed you had to get each piece. This is like the that Shakespeare video that was explaining the 9/11 to Twilight Pipeline. How like 9/11 created Twilight.
To change their
Okay,
positions.
I'm gonna rewind it for Julia. We gotta on the Flint Master Flex run that shit back, bro.
Republican House members back.
Okay.
Mike Johnson is a huge loser in this compromise because Mike Johnson's bill that he passed through the House of Representatives by 5 votes is not going to be signed into law. It's going to be ripped up. Mike Johnson has to bring all of his Republican House members back, and all of them have to change their positions to agree with just 5 Senate Democrats who changed their positions. And when Mike Johnson does that, the Epstein files come back to life in the House of Representatives. Because when Mike Johnson convenes the House of Representatives, he will have to swear in the newest elected member of the House of Representatives, Adelita Grijalva of Arizona. She will then immediately become the 218th signature on a discharge petition that will force a vote of the House of Representatives on releasing the Epstein files, a vote Mike Johnson fears more than any vote ever cast during his speakership. That is why Mike Johnson closed down the House of Representatives and gave every Republican in the House a paid vacation for the last 7 weeks. Fear, abject fear of the Epstein files, where we know Donald Trump's name has to appear many times. Because, as Jeffrey Epstein said, Jeffrey Epstein was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. The top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, Jamie Raskin, has some questions for Donald Trump, which he put in writing and sent directly to Donald Trump at the White House. Congressman Raskin tells Donald Trump in writing, quote, "You have adamantly refused to release the Epstein files despite campaigning on their release. You lied."
I'm looking for the old comment, but like someone said, they had to do that anyway. Heard me? They had to do that anyway. But good job, guys. We gave up everything, but now we're finally gonna get that hearing on the Epstein files that we were gonna get anyway.
So this what we did is we are going to let y'all die so we can get paperwork that we already know exists that was already going to have to be released anyway, because eventually the court was going to step in and say, y'all can't keep this woman out of the chamber.
You're welcome.
All right, so then the next question all right, so then the next question becomes, okay. So let me give you the benefit of the doubt, Chuck, because I know that's who's really talking. It ain't Lawrence, it's Chuck that's talking. It's
Facts.
Chuck that's got his hand up Lawrence like this.
Not even what Bellamy said.
It's
not. He's not. They didn't text him that he's in his ear, bro.
That
in
is
the
him
producer chair
talking
right now.
So let me ask you this, Chuck. What about anything, all of this rolling over that you have done? Let's say, for the sake of argument, that them Epstein files do come out, and Donald's name is all over them, as we all already know, based off of all of the circumstantial and anecdotal evidence. What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do about it? Is y'all going to try to impeach him again like you did twice last time?
I'm sure
and
that'll
you
work.
Failed both times?
So that he can then brag, said, thrice, and he could change his fucking true social model to be thrice impeached president. so he can brag about it.
I
No,
got
no,
the
no,
Epstein.
no, Bill, no. Like he's literally O'Donnell, like whatever. Don't. This is the 5D chess move where we're gonna give them exactly what they want, but it's because we're gonna open the Pandora's box, and they really don't want that. Is what they've been telling us. Now, I've seen the files, and I, due to my own posturing, know that this isn't anything that's gonna be politically long-term damning for anybody but Donald Trump. However, they really don't want it. So, and you guys really want the box, right? So I got you guys the box. Don't worry. You guys lost like your health care and your gas and ability to get a car or house. But hey, you guys are gonna find out. Twitter will finally have the debate resolved. Yeah. We will fight. We will fight. We like, oh my God.
Oh,
But real
I
quickly
hate these
to
people. I
Michael
hate them
Johnson,
so much.
which such an unfortunate name, and I completely understand why you go by Michael Johnson, especially in these trying times. But so what's the organizing looking like where you guys are around? Listen, man, I don't know. I'm gonna start taking more responsibility for the chat because I'm not just gonna imagine you guys are. I'm gonna let us get toxic before we actually are. Right now, we got a very pure chat, a very pure community. So like, I know none of you guys are crazy because there's 30 people in here, and I probably interacted with most of you at some time. But I've been going to DSA. I've been going to DSA meetings. I know in other more contentious crowds, I don't DSA is like weird, but hey, like I'm I'm nerdy, but I've not been politically active like in the streets very long. And like I found DSA obviously after Zoran, after early Zoran mania. And I did get what I was looking for, which was another political project that felt like they were trying to do something on a local level. I knocked door for 3 weekends for my local council member, Frankie Garcia, who actually did win his seat. Almost no one talked about the Maryland races, but because like they weren't that important. But we did get 2 DSA members on a local council board, and that felt good. Like I'm gonna put you up front. That's not going to change anything material about my life. I don't even live in the county that they won in, but I understood that this was what a version of the work was going to look like. Electoral politics will not save us. However, they do not they exist, right? They can be utilized. And so um feeling politically or electorally engaged with my community, alongside also visiting my local food banks, right? Understanding I have food banks in my neighborhood, has been really powerful. Honestly, like I think it's a lot easier to even talk about the mess in the world when I know after I turn off this camera. Okay, I know what I'm doing for my block though. I have an idea of what I was doing, which is actually why I even realized why I even have Bill on here, right? Because you have experience with that, Bill, of like what to Michael's question, like what does real organizing look like when you just like a normalized nigga? Okay, can you speak a little bit on that? It's okay if you can't either. I know I just put you on the spot, but
No, I mean it's because people ask me this question, and I'll be trying to rack my brain to make it sound, real bread tubey and real whatever. But it's literally just knocking on a nigga door and being like, "What do you need?" You know what I mean? Like that's literally what it is. You know what I
facts.
mean? And then you get enough people involved, and you just graduate the scale up to a point that, all right, now we gotta figure out some logistical stuff. But it's not as deep as people try to make it. Is it like, for instance, the stuff that we do where I'm at, it was literally one day I just said, "All right, this what matter of fact, before we even did the book bags, we did the toys." And I just asked people in the church and was like, "Hey, this is what we trying to do, for the people around the way. You got a couple dollars, to throw toward what we doing." And that's literally how that happened, was just asking the question and people saying, "Yeah, I got some money. Matter of fact, I'll go shopping for you," as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
And the more people, I think that part of it is that most people are not gonna get on board until they see it succeed the first time, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
You
then the
have to be the
second time,
wave.
and then the third time, and then the fourth time, you know what I mean? But it ain't gonna start off with like this year we did like what, 300 book bags, I believe. It ain't gonna
Damn.
start off with you doing 300. I think the first
Mhm.
time we did it, we did like 20, 25, if that. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? But the more you do it, you just gotta be consistent with it. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? You gotta be consistent with it. You can't be afraid to talk to people. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. And I
People
also
is too
feel
scared
like
to talk to each other.
right, and I also feel like, and you tell me if you if you agree with this or found this in your own work, is that I think doing that type of community work like starts to make you less afraid of people. Like when I
It
started door
does.
knocking, yeah, when
It
I
really
started door
does.
knocking, not like I have a background. I mean, I'm obviously built like this. Obviously, like I'm not the most afraid to talk to people, but like I have a background in my first job out of high school, or one of my first jobs out of high school in the summer was I was knocking doors, but I was a roof salesman. Like I was one of them niggas in the summer that would knock on your door and ask you if you need a roof estimate and shit. And like yeah, like
Yeah.
but and that shit's way more adversarial. But like when you're just literally your job is literally to knock on the door just to get somebody's opinion and tell them to go support a person that you believe in the policies of, you actually do get to learn a lot about people. And you're like, you know what? To be fair, and some people are not going to like when I say this, but I think for a lot of us, not a lot of us, but a lot of people in my audience who are a little bit more anxious, you find out there's like 7 types of people right in your area, not in the whole world, but like, your neighborhood probably got like 5 to 7 type of people. And like, you can probably talk to them about like the same 3 to 4 things, and you're going to be able to get some personality out of them. And then you'll be friends. And then you're going to be like walking your fucking dog. You're going to be like hooping, or you're going to be like running, which you guys should be doing, get some exercise. And you're going to see that person, and you're going to be like, "Hey," and then you're all of a sudden going to have a rapport with some person, and then that deep pit in your
Mhm.
stomach, where you're like, "Man, I just feel like the world's so cold and everybody's so mean, and like, why do I feel so alone?" It
Mhm.
wasn't just the world. The world's definitely helping you feel that way, but most of it wasn't the world. It was that you were supposed to know who your fucking neighbors were, and you unfortunately grew up in a time in which
Exactly.
everybody is like too shy to help you do that. So like you gotta hear from
That's
people
my
on the
big
internet that you're supposed
conspiracy
to be reaching out
theory.
to people. Go for it. Sorry.
That's my big conspiracy theory, is that everything is designed to keep us as isolated from each other as physically possible, so that we don't organize, let alone revolt against nothing,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't even talk to each other. Like, I'll tell you, for
Like
me, I don't
we
like
are like
people.
the left is in no
I
shape
ain't
to
even
do
gonna
any
hold you.
revolt right now.
I don't like people. Like,
Listen, I worked in
but
customer service all my life. Fuck people low key. Like
there you
I
go.
resent that I'm
There
so
you
attractive to
go.
people. To be honest.
Customer service, well, a combination of customer service and autism has made me I like the idea of people, but I don't like literal physical people. But
People have
that
so much
don't stop
potential
me
until they open their
from
mouth.
talking to them. You know what
Right.
I
You got
mean?
to deal with them. Like
That's just what's necessary for building community.
right, and like you don't
It's
like people, but
necessary.
and here maybe the more important thing to say that I think has been lost, especially the younger and younger the population. You don't like people, but like, or you don't like people, but you don't hate them, right? Like you don't
Yeah, there exactly. I don't hate
like
people.
you don't build your identity around being basically a shut in or an introvert who like is literally afraid of people because somehow in your community being afraid of people is cool or like quirky. Um, no, learn some goddamn social
Yeah,
skills or
no,
else you're gonna be fucking very
I just
lonely
rather
at
be
25.
left alone.
Right.
I have a very short social battery. Like I'll be around you for like that's why I ain't really do parties like that when I was in college because I don't like being around a bunch of people at one time. If I come in there and I see more than like 5 people at one time, like, all right, I'll see y'all later. That's just how I'm conditioned. Or not how I'm conditioned, that's just how I'm built.
No, right. Like you just be protecting your peace. And I also understand. I mean, honestly, the very common, like, I feel like it's a common black man energy. But also just like having the low social battery. I hate, Ghost Star says, I hate a gripe with how a lot of young people online and social media romanticize not talking to people and being more individualistic and labeling it self-care. Right. Are you protecting your peace or are
Yeah.
you just being avoidant? Like, or do you just have generalized
Mhm.
anxiety?
Are you just being
Brother, sister.
self-involved?
Right, or are you just like are you an intellectual or do you just overthink? More at 11. I don't mean to ruin your whole day right now. Also to Michael, didn't know that your question was rhetorical. Okay, that it was rhetorical because I still wanted to get out this point. It was true to actual hand to God why I had Bill on this week because I was thinking about what are we going to do with this organizing. And thank you honestly for bringing that up and letting this whole side bit happen because I do think going back again to why Chuck wanted to stop this is because I do believe if this government shutdown ran to a certain point, what would happen is like these smaller like communities would support each other, especially in the communities that get hit the hardest that are red states. Because one thing that I will say is that in those in those rural states, they already have a social fabric that is more amenable to like once times really get tough, it being much easier for neighbors to go ahead and be like, hey man, like, do you have like, can we split some food? Do you have some gas? Do you have this? Do you have that? Can you help me with this? Because like at least they're already bounded together through that small town, whether it be the bar, church, whatever. So I think that scared them a little bit because truly we're like, in order for us to get to socialism, if now like it's late enough now for us to start, like we can start saying the quiet parts out loud. In order for us to get socialism, like the country has to devolve into a place where capitalism as a structure doesn't work for individual people anymore. Like in which like you now realize not that capitalism gets canceled like a subscription, right? It's not going to happen. What happens is that like kind of like in Venezuela, in Argentina, if it's if your money is devalued to the point where like it takes $10,000 for you to buy a loaf of bread, you're just going to go to your neighbor and be like, can we work out some other arrangement because you make bread and I want bread. So now all of a sudden you using your gardening skills, and now we have we have a trade-based economy that's happening underneath the actual economy. And they would hate that because it would prove to everybody, hey, maybe money wasn't the final level. Maybe money was more of like a plot filler episode in like how we did human activity. And it actually was kind of cool that we could use to trade skills or just trade goodwill between one another in order to get our stuff. They were like, we're getting way too close. My daughter showed me a YouTube essay and he was making way too much fucking sense. And then here we are. It's socialism or fascism. I mean, not in America. In America, it's communism or fascism, isn't it? But we have no fucking middle, no fucking chill. Let me see. Okay, there's 2 minutes. There's 2 minutes left on this, and we're 3 hours. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. I feel like we did get to the point, but I guess just for the sadistic sense of the masochistic sense of completion, we're gonna finish up this video, and then we're probably gonna wrap it up. I guess we just go and do one topic. I'm happy that we delve into the topic so much today the way that we did.
When you denied authoring a lewd and incriminating birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein, and you ridiculously claimed that your unmistakable signature on that note was not your signature. You shut down the Department of Justice's ongoing investigation into Epstein's co-conspirators, and you expressly declined to rule out pardoning his main accomplice, convicted child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. The House Committee on the Judiciary has now received whistleblower information indicating that this cover-up goes even further into the Department of Justice and Bureau of Prisons than was known before. Documents and information received over the last several days by this committee indicate that under Dr. Tanisha Hall, the warden of Federal Prison Camp Bryan, the federal law enforcement staff working at the camp have been waiting on Ms. Maxwell hand and foot. This information also indicates that Ghislaine Maxwell is working on filing a commutation application with your administration demonstrating either that
Bro was sucking on the chuck cock so much he had to clear his throat. That's kind of crazy.
Ms. Maxwell is herself requesting you release her from her 20-year prison sentence for her role as a conspirator in Jeffrey Epstein's international child sex trafficking ring, or that this child sex predator now holds such tremendous sway in the second Trump administration that you and your Department of Justice will follow her clemency recommendations. Congressman Raskin demands that Donald Trump, quote, make your former personal attorney and now deputy.
You know what this gives the energy of? And like, this is why I'm like, wow, nah. Like, everybody on this chat has already thrown this party away, but like, normies really gotta throw this party away. Do you know what Republicans say about Democrats? Like, the way they talk about them, it's like a Republican, if you make a Republican mad, they'll punch the shit out you, they'll rush you or whatever, you know, they're uncouth in that fashion. But the joke about Democrats is that, you know, if you insult a Democrat, they'll go home and they'll write you a very strongly worded letter. And I turn to the camera. Like, this like, you're right. This some SNL shit. This feels like some SNL shit. Like, bro is dismantling democracy, rebuilding it in his fashion image, and his go-to was, ooh, like, this is the epitome of Twitter thinkers. He said, oh, they gonna feel me on this one. Please, we need the information now. In 6 to 3 weeks after your aides get to this.
Attorney General Todd Blanche available for a public hearing immediately with our committee. I am demanding answers to these 3 questions. First, have you discussed
an unusual allegiance to
any
losers
form of presidential clemency?
And it's so sad. It's so unlike it. It's very like them,
his underlings, or anyone else in your administration. Second, have you directed Mr. Blanche or anyone else in your administration to provide Ms. Maxwell with the transfer to the prison camp, favorable and preferential treatment in prison, or special accommodations for her communications and interaction with her family and the outside world? Third, what has Ms. Maxwell, her attorneys, family, or representatives promised you or your attorneys?
Well, hope everybody's blood pressure is now returning down to back down to normal. What'd you say?
I said, I need to know who was them 25,000 people who liked that video.
Bro, like, honestly, hold up. I actually got to go back. I actually really want to see these comments, because I'm like, they have to be tearing him apart, right? There we go. They may get food assistance, but they'll lose their health care. We have to feed our neighbors, but what do you do for someone who needs insulin 3 times a day? Even because that's what we call it, a bleeding heart liberal. Even they have like a sense of scale when it comes to their own empathy. As a Canadian, shout out Canada, wanting to reform, sorry, but this is hard to spin as anything other than a disappointment. Like, they see right through it. The Democrats appear to have been garnering support, and they've just given it away.
The one positive is that at least folks seem to be getting it.
Okay, I'm glad people are getting it. Like, facts.
Making comments on.
They get the best health care. They don't give a fuck about if you get health care, bro. And also, this is the bigger thing. Never understand. Like, I think it is when, not if, but when the government, when the Republicans don't give them that next meeting to discuss the ACA again in December, I don't know. I mean, I guess at that point, I think the Dems are going to go full mask off, and they're going to behave just like the Republicans, being like, we're also going to lose in the midterms. Because at this point, like, I think right now you have people that are coming from unlikely sources that are preparing primary runs, because they're like, okay, finally the market's open. Like, now this is the best time to primary if you want to run on the Democratic ticket, not as a Democrat, but just run on the ticket, because you will win.
Yeah.
Steelers are on playbook. To be honest, like, I prefer you actually like believe it, but it's to the point where, like, just parrot the playbook. Any person who's in power right now, gone, because we don't fucking want you. Like, you guys have shown, like, you guys have played the final card. Be like, okay, yeah, you're not on our side, and you're honestly just hoping that the fascism works out, at least for your income level and above. That's John Glenn, right? Holy John Glenn. It was not the first person to orbit the Earth. Dang. So first of all, his big thing lied. So that wasn't even accurate. It's for the American to do it. Facts. So once again,
a communist.
the communists beat us to it. So it was a cave. I gotta see the replies, bro. Okay, never mind. Let me see. All right, whatever. It was definitely a cave, pulled him out. Okay. All right. I'm glad. I'm really glad. I feel like when I first watched this, some of the comments before were people kind of capping for this. This Facebook ass comment, but I respect it. Oh, this is where we gotta end. Lawrence, for the first time ever, I'm closing your video without watching. He blue balled your video. He said, "I can't even get jiggy with this shit. You have greatly disappointed me." And you know the white people, they don't say fuck you. They don't say fuck. They don't say fuck you. They don't call you a motherfucker. They just said you have greatly disappointed me, and because they're a guilt society.
This person down here said, "I can't get insurance and I can't afford to fly."
So what the fuck is any of this for? See, here we go. Not the bot. The Wendy Reese is 99% sure part of a Chuck Schumer's cribbage club. You speak sense, Lawrence. You even ace Rachel on this one.
Low key,
it's crazy. Condom is leading. All Democrats achieved with them. Maybe one. None of it is in writing. They don't have to. Bro, yeah, Dan, they're tearing them apart. The only complex process behind closed doors was deciding which senator would suffer least politically. Exactly. The only reason why they had the meeting, it probably wasn't even a real meeting. It probably was a fucking Zoom meeting. Was like, all right, guys, we're opening up the government. It's not going to be pretty. Who wants to take the fall? I promise during the holiday party, we're going to throw like a little extra Switch 2 in your goodie bag this year. Well,
I have no idea what this man was talking about. Well, at least we figured out how he got to Epstein. How he got from food stamps.
Chat. Can y'all track that? We went Snap. We went Snap to.
It went food stamps, airplanes.
There we go. Airplanes.
The Civil Rights Act.
To John Glenn, to Lyndon Johnson.
John Glenn. Then the Civil Rights Act, then we got the Epstein.
Lyndon Johnson, then Mike Johnson, then Epstein, then don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. This was actually the best compromise we possibly could have gotten. Yeah, I don't fucking, I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. They know exactly, let's be very clear about this, guys. They know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They know who exactly they're giving up, and it's very calculated on their end. Our choice, as it is, whenever, and to be honest, often, when our elected leaders fail us, is how we're going to act in the face of that. How we're going to protect ourselves, just like the Black Panthers did. When you look at the system and you see it's bending you over and fucking you, you don't ask it for more. You figure out how to pull the knife out your back. I'm mixing metaphors. It's Uncle Mex now, but you get what the fuck I'm saying. Appreciate you guys for joining me on this 3-hour stream. Second one in a row, 2 weeks in a row. Bill, thank you so much for yapping with me on short notice. I'm happy, and apologies for causing you this brain aneurysm. But I still hope you have fun.
So much distress. See, I came on here thinking we were going to talk about the Grammys, talk about a little bit about organizing, and then you broke my brain with this MSNBC. Now I'm going to just be pacing around the floor for like the next 20 minutes trying to figure out what did I just watch.
Not you about to talk to the wife.
I genuinely feel stupid right now.
You're not stupid, bro. You're being gaslit. You're trying to be programmed.
Because I'm like, what?
Nah, well, we will have to have
Obviously,
you.
it's something that's not clicking.
The math is not mathing, literally, because like
It's
40
not. The math
40
ain't
million.
math to be from jump.
But yeah,
Cause
I too.
jokes aside, cause
No, go
cause
for it.
jokes aside, and jokes aside, the really sinister part about it all is that I do not recall at any point during the video where we talked about healthcare. And I'm glad that the comments on the video brought that up. Was that at the end of the day, this is what the fight was over. The fight again was never about funding SNAP, which wound up getting funded anyway because the courts ruled so. So I don't even know what the value of that promise was to begin with. The fight was never about getting federal workers back to work. That was all of that was just collateral damage for the real issue, which was that we want to abolish Obamacare, and they effectively achieved that. That was the point. Was to
And
abolish
actually, I'm
Obamacare
sorry to
specifically
even
to
stop you right there.
deregulate the insurance industry.
I'm sorry to even stop you right there because Mitch McConnell even promised that shit. Like, you want to talk about even more about how hysterical it is, right? How hysterical it is for lawyers to say Republicans lost anything. Because they've been fighting a fucking 15-year war. They said in 2009, 2010, we're gonna fight. One thing we know, we were gonna repeal. We will not stop until we repeal Obamacare. And we thought it was jokes. We thought they were just being hyperbolic.
Literally,
and no, they went in the
and a
lab.
half.
They went in the fucking lab day in, day out. And now, that's why they don't fucking care. Because they only had one goal to the detriment of everything else, to be honest with you. But you have to remind the resolve of being like, hey, we've been cooking for 15 years. We're not stopping until we get this fucking tax credit and we get this fucking healthcare back in the hands of our rightful business owners so we can fucking let fat people die. But hey, on that note, next time, hopefully, because let me see, I think Grammys are in February. I did still want to yap to you about about the Grammys because I had listened to all the fucking best performances or whatever. Like, I would pray that I have a good conversations on the individual songs. But then we got wrapped up in this, but we have to have you back on the show for sure. I'm gonna let you go. I know you got kids and they got school in the morning. I also have work in the morning, and these people and Fatima has an entire kitchen packed to the soundtrack of our beautiful tenors. So on that note, we're gonna end it off here, guys. This has been Colormind, Tayo Tuesdays with Little Bill. And as always, even when your federal government refuses to do so, please remember, always, always, always be kind. All right, good night, guys.